All right, everyone, welcome back. Gonna go ahead and complete our review of the BestSight DIY night vision system that I was sent to me. Now, these guys reached out to me, asked me to do a review. Told them I'd be happy to, guys, but we're gonna do an honest review here. I do have some stuff I do actually like about this system, and I do have some stuff that, you know, I think it can be improved upon, so we'll touch on that. Overall, we went out, installed this. Wasn't too difficult to install. They give you two different fixtures to actually put on your scope, so it kind of gives you some options. This one actually has little screw tabs, screw nuts that actually mount. I actually like it better. There's another system that actually has a tension fit system. It has bushings in it, fits your scope. It was okay. Problem was, it just didn't seem like it was as stable. So I actually preferred this setup a little bit better. There's a couple things I didn't like about this as well, and I'll show you what I did to mitigate that, and maybe some suggestions for BestSight maybe in the future to maybe add to their kit. And we'll get over in the 5-star rating, and we'll talk about price and all that kind of stuff shortly. Did take it out. It's actually pretty impressive. It does a good job for what it is. It is bulky. I'm going to tell you right now, it is bulky. I mean, you got a big screen sitting on top here. You do not get to use your scope. You cannot see through it with this mounted on there. We'll talk about that. And this does not record video, and we'll talk about that as well. Overall, you get a complete kit. You get the camera, you get all your hardware to mount it, you get rings for 30 millimeter and 1 inch to mount your LCD screen. You get a clamp that can fit an array of different barrels, scopes. This can probably fit a pretty small scope tube as well, but that holds your IR torch. I do like the IR torch. It has an adjustable beam. That is nice, very nice. You do get a charger and batteries, at least I did with mine. Now, they did send that in a separate box, so you may have to order that separate, but they did provide that to me for this review. Now, they're not compensating me for this review. They did send this item to me, no cost, and asked me to, they contacted me asking me to review it. So I am going to do an impartial review, but I do think this system does have some great benefits, and do I think it's for everybody? Absolutely not. I've got a ATN Nightvision, and it's nice because everything's compact, it records, it does a lot of really neat stuff, but you're talking about $1,000 scope, you know, nearly. So you've got to kind of weigh what your budget is, I guess, and what your priorities are, how often you'll use it, and what works best for you. I've tried this on a couple different platforms. I've tried this on some AR platforms. I tried this on a bench rest rifle. I've tried it on a PCP and a break barrel rifle, and everything mounted up good to all of them. Had no issues with any of it, so I do like that. So what do I like about this? I like that it's economical, it's value priced, and I think that's really important in this industry. A lot of people can't afford, like I say, ATN or entry-level night vision scope. So this will adapt any scope that you have pretty much to night vision. Pretty much just about anyone on the market, it's going to be able to adapt with everything they provide you. So that's pretty cool. So you can take an existing scope and turn it into digital night vision, basically. And it also has day vision. So you can switch from a color screen. I do like that. It has a switch back in the back, so you can switch from daytime use and then switch it over, and it'll switch it to nighttime use, and at that time you turn your IR light on, and you'll get to see the benefits of the night vision capability. And it does work. It works really good. Now, we measured out to about 100 yards, done really good. Does spectacular, all the way up to, a lot of our stuff was around 50 yards. spectacular. Some went out to about 70 yards, I think, on average, but our longest was 100 yards. I believe they said this can go out to 250 meters. I'm not sure. Didn't test that. I'm not sure how good it would do at that distance, so we did not test that portion of it. Let me see here if it'll tell us on here. 200 meters is what the range is on it. So so we did half that distance, and the clarity and everything, once you have everything focused, your camera focused, your parallax, all that focus, it actually is a very, very crisp image. Very impressed with that. Really doesn't do this justice, but the clarity on this camera is really, really good. This LCD screen's not too shabby. See, those leaves really, really clear. The branches. So right now, this is not on night vision, it's on day vision, and since it's nighttime, you really can't see anything. So let's flip this over to night vision. It's gonna switch it to night vision. You still can't see anything. We're gonna turn our IR torch on, and as you can see, that is how that's gonna work. We still have our crosshairs, and you can adjust this beam and the intensity to what you need. Now, these trees back here are about 60 yards away. Very, very good clarity on here. Very, very impressed with the clarity. Now you can adjust this IR and everything to however you want it. So let's say right about there, we can still adjust our parallax to get things clearer. And that's a pretty good picture right there. Down the little shooting path here, let's see. We'll adjust the parallax again on here. And that brought in those targets. That's about 50 yards away right there. And this is just a little platform that squirrels and raccoons tend to come eat on. And that's a little backstop I have in there. Got a lot of wood behind there. And this is where I do a lot of pest eradication on my property. They like to come here and eat, like to tear up stuff. So I like to feed them at the back end of the property, and this will work out perfect right there. I do like the system, works really good. I can actually adjust, this is a first focal plane scope, but I can adjust everything and actually get everything sighted in even better and adjust my parallax on it, and it does a really good job. Want to go back out in the woods. Let me try to find something I know at a known distance. That tree right there is about 75 to 80 yards out. And you can see some pretty good detail on it. Now we can zoom in with our scope and adjust the parallax. And that's pretty good. You can hunt with this all day long. You can still see the crosshairs really well. And that does really, really, really well. So this is a pretty good little unit. It works out pretty good. Like I say, guys, it's not for everybody. It doesn't replace a traditional night vision scope. But if you don't have the money for a night vision, this is something that you might consider getting into. It is a little unwieldy, has a lot of, there's a lot of bulk that you're adding to your rifle when you do something like this. But night vision game comes at a cost. So I just want to show y'all how it looks at night. I think it looks really good, and I think my wife's about getting sick and tired of holding this camera. She's probably
little bit tired standing there trying to film this for me. So we're going to go ahead and move this inside, and we're going to finish our review and do our 5-star rating system. And I'll let you know exactly what changes, if it was me, that I would make, what I like and dislike about this particular product.
So far it's done a really good job for us. I do like that. Some of the things I think that can be improved on it, I really like this system better than the friction fit ring system. I think this actually mounts more solid. Only thing I do not like about it, and I'm going to take this off, this does not come with it, and I'll explain that in just a second. It has this opening right here, and let's say what it's for is to adjust your focus on your camera, because your camera's right here, and that's convenient. I do like that. It makes it really easy to focus, really simple. The problem with that, I found, not so much during the day, but at night, when I was doing some of my filming, I was doing some backyard filming, and we have a patio light that was on. Now, I could have turned it off, but it was getting some reflection. It was reflecting back off of the first lens and the scope, reflecting back in the camera, and you could see that reflection, that light reflection in the LCD screen. So I noticed if I held my hand just kind of over it, that went away. So I knew what was causing it. Now I could have went and turned that, flipped that light off. Would have been no problem at all. However, let's say you're out hunting and you have a street light or a security light or something that you don't have access to turn that off. You know, that's going to be in your screen. Now, it didn't appear anything. I still was able to see my crosshairs. I was still able to see really clear. It just on one side of the screen where it was reflecting off of, it was very distracting. And that's what I didn't like. So I found a solution to mitigate this. And maybe BestSight, you know, maybe y'all could generate something like this and just throw in, it's just a piece of plastic. I 3D printed this, took some measurements with my calipers, and I was like, what could I do to actually remedy that situation where I didn't have to cover it up? So I printed this off. It just snaps on, and look, I can flip it around and I can still get right here and adjust the focus on this camera, and I can just spin it around just like this. It's covering both sides because that hole goes all the way through, and it's protected from both sides, and it mitigated everything. It remedied the whole situation with that reflection getting back in. So I was very happy with that. So simple. I think this took me 30 minutes to print on my 3D printer. I went in CAD, generated it up, and hey, I printed it out. And I said, let's try that and let's see if it worked. Hey, it worked like a champ. This is something they could ejection mold really easy and throw in their box, and that would be a great little addition to keep any external light out. Something else you could do, you could just wrap something around it, just cover it up. I mean, you could wrap a rag around it if you wanted to and go on. So there's more ways to remedy that than just this, but this was my method of remedying, and it worked out really good. Okay, this is the BestSight DIY Nightvision. So we got it all mounted to this rifle and everything. Got this actually on a Vortex scope right now. I've tried it on different scopes, works really well. It comes with 2 different pieces. This one right here has an opening right here where you can actually adjust your focus on your camera. As you can see, one thing, and I'm going to show you how I mitigated it. I've got some light in the back that actually is reflecting inside here and making dots on this LCD screen. So you can see when I cover that up, that goes away. So that's one thing I didn't like. So I 3D printed a little sleeve to cover that up. You can just cover it up with anything and that's fine. But that's what these spots are. There's not a defect in this LCD screen. It's a reflection from light hitting the first lens in our scope, and it's reflecting back on the camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this over it. I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. See, it's gone. I do like that they do give you your mount rings for 1 inch and 30 millimeters tubes, so that's really nice. And they give you all your hardware to mount this camera because your camera is back here. They also give you another little adapter, like I say, that's got a friction fit ring, and it actually holds your camera as well. It's just a different way of mounting stuff. I just didn't think it was as solid as this. This, for me, was worked out better, and to me it was more solid of a mount and worked out better on across all my scopes I tried it on. So I like this setup better. I know it doesn't look as slick and it doesn't look as neat as the other mount, but this one, in my opinion, is the better mount. So you're gonna have to see what works on your gun, on your application. Let's see what else I like about it. I mean, I told you about the clarity. The clarity was really good. I was very impressed by that. I went and spotted some wildlife with it and stuff the other night. Did really good. Other than that, I really didn't have any major issues with this unit. I did have a glitch in the LCD and contacted the manufacturer. He got back with me immediately and had a replacement sent to me, and that mitigated that. You know, that's just part of it. You never know with electronics if you're going to get something that's defective, and occasionally you do. So you have to understand that that could happen. I appreciate that that's very responsive, and they took care of that issue. Some of the things I think could change on this, the thing I do not like about setups like this is, yes, you can take this off and use your scope, but I think a better option would be sort of like the Tacticam setups that uses a mirror. I would like to see this camera mounted to the side and have a reflector looking back in your scope. That way you could actually look through your scope and still have the camera at the same time. That way you could use them both. I think that would be super if you could do that. Second thing I think that this needs, I think it needs the ability to be able to record. A lot of us that hunt and stuff like that would love to be able to record. Now, when you start adding all these features, your price point, of course, probably will go up, unfortunately. So at the price they have this at for what it does a spectacular job. So there's some things that I personally changed, some things that I would like to see that would work better for my application and the way I hunt, the way I try to film stuff, because it's difficult trying to film and not being able to see really good when you're trying to film an LCD screen. It's kind of hard to do that. It'd be much better to have it where you could actually record into this unit. So that would be awesome if we could do that. What else can I say about this? Really easy to set up. It was not that difficult. I had more difficult with other camera mount, getting it to mount on my scopes, and I mean, it went on fine, but it just seemed like it had too much play in it, and I did not like that. This is such more of a solid system, and these little nuts here are made out of a polymer plastic, so they're not going to damage your scope. Very, very good that they did that, and they're not metal. That way you're not getting marks and stuff on your scope itself, so it's not going to damage it. The other one uses little compression fittings, and they're plastic also. Now this part right here and the other adapter as well, it's made out of aluminum, but everything that touches your scope is going to be plastic, so that way it doesn't damage it. So I do like that. A lot of great features on this. Very impressed on how they got it set up. I think it's a good entry-level night vision scope, and I think it has its place in this market. Is it for everybody? No. Does it replace my ATN? Absolutely not. But it is a good system. It does work really good. There's some features I really think that this needs, and like I was saying, one, it'd be nice to be able to see through your scope. Let's say something happened to the screen and it quit working, which I did have that issue. If you was out in a hunting situation, you're having to pull this off and try to get back on sight and on target, and if you're in a hunting situation, you might have missed your opportunity. If this had a different mounting system where it had reflectors where it could record back into it, and you could actually use your scope optically through your vision and have this still on here, that's fine, where you can look at it. I think it would be a better setup. That's just my personal opinion on it. The IR torch is really, really good on this. I was really impressed. It actually did an excellent, outstanding job. You go from a tight beam to a flood. It worked really well. Didn't have any issues with that at all. Very, very good. What else could I tell you about this? Overall, I do like it. Do I think it's got a place in the market? Absolutely. If you're trying to get in the night vision game and you do not have the budget to buy night vision, this might be for you. If you're wanting a serious night vision optic that you can actually see through your optic, record and stuff like that, this would not be the unit I would recommend. It's just not going to do the job, and I don't think you're going to be happy with it. So it does some things. It's pretty cool. I'm probably going to leave this on, let's say, a pesting rifle that I can use around the property, that I can leave it set up dedicated for nighttime use only. I'm not going to use it for daytime. And I'll get into that in just a minute why I wouldn't do that. And I think it'll work out really, really good for those purposes. But I wouldn't probably be changing it from rifle to rifle to rifle. I'm going to pick one and leave it on it, and it's going to be done. Some things I dislike about it is you add all this extra bulk, and it's kind of hard when you're trying to store stuff in a gun closet or a gun cabinet or something like that. It kind of gets in the way. It's kind of hard to put on a rack. That's another thing I don't like about it. This is in the way. Now you can quickly take this off, so don't get me wrong. You can loosen this up, leave the mount on there, and I can take this right off. So yes, we can take this off, but I prefer, let's say, if I know there's something stirring about on the property and I want to go check it out, I want to grab my gun and go. I don't want to have to assemble something and then go. I want to grab it and go. So that's kind of a downside for me, but not for everybody. Now, if you don't mind taking that off and just kind of stowing it if you needed to set it up, or if you don't mind stowing it in this configuration, if you have the place for it, hey, go for it, and it's going to work out fine for you. Now, daytime use. Now, nighttime, like I said, spectacular. I love it. Daytime use, inside setting everything up, you can see really good. The problem I had when I was going outside during the day, the camera's working fine. The problem I had was with the LCD screen. You really need to have, and BestSight, hopefully they'll listen to this, and this is something else they could add along with this piece right here, is just you could do a Velcro little cover to kind of a sunshade for this LCD screen, because this that sticks out right here is not enough, especially if you have direct sunlight. It floods that out too much, and during the day, if you have a sunlight coming behind you hitting that LCD screen, it's almost impossible to see what you're looking at, and it is very, very difficult. So daytime use, I did not like it just because of that. I did take a piece of tape and taped around there with a piece of cardboard just to test that theory out, and it did mitigate that sun issue, and I was able to see with it. However, it does not come with that. So that's something you could mitigate with that by actually putting something there and doing that. Or BestSight, just throw something in. Throw a little fabric deal that'll flip over here, will stick out about that far, and just provide a little bit of shade to that LCD screen to keep the sunlight out of it. I think that will work wonders for those that want to use this for day setup. Again, once you have this set up, you're not going to be able to use your scope unless you take this unit off of here. And if you take it off, you're going to have to set it back up, get everything in focus again. That's the bad thing. Is once you take it off, you're going to have to refocus everything, get everything adjusted again. So really no mitigating that unless they have come up with a system that you could have a system that you locked in here that you could quick connect, take off. That would be an option, and then you can lock it back in place and everything still be in the same spot, same orientation. That might be a thought. But overall, for the price, if you're looking at getting something cheap and needing night vision and didn't have it, it would absolutely work. So let's go ahead and get into our rating system. You know, guys, I want to go over our rating and let y'all know how everything fared on our scale. So let's talk about price. Price at $169, I believe, on Amazon. Right around the $160, $170 price range. This BestSight DIY night vision system is actually a good price. It's hard to get in the night vision game any cheaper than $200, and they've done it. This is the good thing about this. You can adapt this practically to any scope, just about. I mean, there's not many scopes you're not going to be able to use the system with, so that's pretty cool. So the price, I'm going to give it a 5-star on price, because I think it's going to be hard to beat the price for any night vision out there, period, at that price. So I'm going to give it a 5-star on the price. As far as reliability, now I'm going to explain why I'm going to give this rating for the reliability. I am going to give reliability right now a 3-star, and I hate to do that, but you're going to get my honest opinion on it. I did have a malfunction with the LCD screen. Now, since they sent me a new LCD screen, I have not had those malfunctions. So I could have just got a bad one. I hate to take anything off, but I did have an issue. And it was actually when I was going out to do a hunt and video a hunt, and I actually had a coon in my crosshairs, and the video went out. I couldn't take the shot, and when I wiggled the cord here, it came back on. So I'm telling you, it probably was just a glitch on that one. I haven't had a problem since then. So reliability, they're only going to give 3-star on that. Unfortunately, I can't give you I can't give a 5-star for, you know, with the issues that I had. I'm not sure if anybody else has had that problem in particular, but I had that problem, and so that's my experience. Ease of use, really, it's easy to use, guys. Once you got all this set up, you plug it in, you simply flip one switch on, and then you have a switch back here for day vision and night vision, and that's it. Besides, if you're having a night vision, turn your IR on, click of a button. Simple. You don't have to set up anything else. Really easy. The mount, if you can mount scope rings, you can mount this. It's really simple. Now, getting this adjusted, it's going to take a little bit. So ease of use, let's go 4 stars. I'm not going to give it a 5-star because it does take a little finagling to get the right mount. Make sure you have the right mount for your scope, and then once you get it mounted, you need to make sure you have everything adjusted right. And once you have everything lined up where your crosshairs are parallel and everything's horizontal and vertical on your screen and centered, it takes a little bit of adjustment and tweaking to get everything set. And if that's something that you're not good at, it may take you a little while to get it dialed in. Not difficult, guys. Very doable. But I'm going to give a 4-star because it's not just plug and play. You just don't throw it on and go. So there is a little bit of dialing in you do have to do. So availability, I'm going to give availability a 4-star. You can't go to Walmart and get this. You can't go to Academy. You can't go to Bass Pro Shops. You're going to have to get it online, Amazon. You might can buy it directly from them, but you are not going to be able to just go anywhere you want to get this. So we're going to do availability 4 stars. And then quality is our next deal. Quality. Well, guys, it's kind of, you get what you pay for, and sometimes you get a little bit more. And in this instance, I think you get what you pay for. I don't think you're getting any extra. You're getting the minimum to work, and it works fairly well, which is good. It does work good. Quality, I'm going to do 4 stars on quality. And the reason why I'm going to just give it 4 stars is I do think it can have some improvements. I think if we offset this camera to the side, have a way to view your scope. Like I say, if this LCD screen goes out and you're in the middle of a hunt and this is on here, you're having to worry about taking this off to get that shot off. If you had a way to see through your scope still, so much better for a hunter. If you're just doing bench shooting, target shooting, and this goes out on you, just take it off, throw it to the side, keep shooting, that's fine. But in a hunting scenario, you don't have that opportunity. You don't usually have that time to start messing around. And the minute you start messing with stuff and tinkering with stuff and making noise, you're going to blow your cover and you're going to lose your shot. I guarantee you're going to lose your shot. So that's one thing. I think they need to have a shade adapter to protect your camera, like I made here, 3D printed. It'd be very simple. I made it in my home. You could wrap anything around here, but I think they should provide something like that, very simple. And I think they should provide a sunshade for the LCD. So quality, we're gonna go with 4 because there is some definitely improvements they can make on the system. But it is a very good system. So who is this for? This is for somebody that does not have the budget, that wants to get into night vision hunting and spotting, but you don't have $1,000 to blow. You don't have, let's say, even on sale a good day, a good ATN older model, probably $500 to $700 if you can find one older or used, old model or used model. And you're wanting to get in the game cheap, under $200, this will get you there. Will it last? Time will tell, and we can discuss that later on. We're going to leave this on here. We're going to use it. We're going to see how it does. Some of the other downfalls is you can't record video on this. This is a huge downside. A lot of us that like to capture our hunts. But I think it's an easy fix too. I think that BestSight can easily make this where it could capture video. If they could make it where it captures video, get you a little sunscreen for your LCD and a shade for this mount right here, I'm not gonna say you're gonna have a home run, but you're gonna have a so much better product. And I can tell you right now, if you could switch this around where the camera was on the side and used a reflector system to reflect back in the scope and you could still see through the scope, look at Tacticam, how they do theirs. Look at how some of the Eagle Vision GoPro mounts are, how they have their camera offset and it reflects in to see what's in the scope, and you can still use the scope. If they would do that, now it may increase the price, but if they could do that and keep this under 250 bucks, I think they have a product that will be really, really good, really spectacular. That's what I would suggest. I think that would be good. They could leave the LCD screen on there. Like I say, that's one downside I don't like about is the LCD screen hanging off the top of this. It's a little bulky, but it's not too big, and it gets the job done, and it's pretty cool. It works. Like I say, for somebody getting in the game that doesn't have night vision, I think it's going to work really good. So if you don't have a budget, if you have a budget for a better system, by all means, you need to get the better system. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not sponsored by ATN. I've got an ATN. I absolutely love it. What would be my preference? It's going to be the ATN, hands down, because I can look through the scope. I can see everything I need to see in there. I can record with it. It does everything I need to do, and it keeps everything in a form factor of a scope. Now, the benefit of this is you can adapt it to any existing scope you have. You're not limited like to the ATN. You're limited to the reticles, even though you can change the reticles in those. You're limited to their power settings. There's a lot of stuff, their glass clarity, where this, if you want to put it on a $3,000 scope or a $50 scope, it's going to work. So that's kind of cool. Like I say, overall it makes a lot larger footprint on your rifle that you're going to put this on, by about a good at least 3 inches, guys. So it's going to considerably take up some space. You're not going to want to get your eye behind this and take a shot, especially like in a bullpup configuration, something like this. If you had a centerfire rifle, I used to have a bullpup 223. I would not want to be behind that and get sucker punched with it. That probably catch your eye open. But you're going to be looking above and shooting anyway, because you're not going to be able to see through this. You're going to be looking right there. So that should be a non-issue. So don't get your eye behind it. I'll just put it that way. Do I think it's a good product? Yes, I think it's a good product. Do I think it could use some improvements? It absolutely could use several improvements. Do I think it's for everybody? It's absolutely not for everybody. Would I recommend it for everybody? No. Would I recommend it for somebody that cannot afford a night vision scope, but really want to get into it and they just can't wait and they're not going to save up, or they can't save up for some reason? You know, get it, go with it, because it will get the job done. You can do some stuff with it. You can hunt with it. You can spot with it. So it does have its benefits. You could actually adapt this to a spotting scope or something and go spot with it at night while you're hunting. That's another option. I mean, think stuff like that. Think outside the box of other things you could actually adapt this to and use it for in conjunction with your hunting. So it does have its benefits. It does have a good price point for what it is. Seeing everything you get, it's not a bad price. So I think our overall rating is right about 4 stars. So that's what we're going to give it, a 4-star rating. I think, would you go wrong buying it? That depends on your needs. If you're a serious shooter and you're going to do a lot of nighttime hunting, I would really recommend getting a regular night vision scope. If you absolutely cannot afford anything else, and that the only way you can get into night vision is under a couple $100, I would say definitely look at this. It will get you going. But once you get into something like this, you're going to want something a little bit better. Now, BestSight, if they will actually take some of the points that I actually said here and actually adapt it maybe to a future generation or something and upgrade this, I think they'll have a lot better product, a lot better following, and I think they have a lot more people that want to use this system. So they're on a good track. They are on a good track with this. It does not fill every niche, though. It absolutely does not fill every niche. So we're gonna give this a 4-star. I think that's right about 3.5, 4 stars. In between there is right where it falls. But I think it's a decent product. I think it does what they claim it does for the most part. It's very adaptable. I do like that. It's not going to make everybody happy though. And I'm going to set it up on just a plinker around here for pesting and stuff like that. Just something fun. This is, to me, this is something you have for fun. Somebody looks at it and they're like, "What is that on your gun?" Hey, it's a conversation piece. That's for absolute certain. For serious hunting applications, I think you're going to have to go a different route. Do I think you should buy this? I think you should buy this if you're on a budget and cannot afford a traditional night vision scope and have no other choice. Is this a serious hunting accessory that you should go out there and hunt with every day? Probably not. I don't know how well it'll hold up. Especially, I would be very hesitant under heavy recoil rifles. I would stick to PCPs, air rifles, rimfire rifles, maybe 223s and AR platforms, something that runs a buffer tube that mitigates a lot of recoil out of it. I think you're going to be okay with those. You get a high caliber rifle, I think you're going to shred this unit apart. I got 300 PRC, we could put it on and test it out. But I don't think we're going to do that. I'm not clamping this thing to my high dollar scope and my high dollar rifle. Do I think it has a place? Yes, it does have a place for those on a budget that need something for night vision, that are not able to buy traditional night vision. Is it bulky? It is bulky. Is it unwieldy? It is unwieldy. Is it something that I would recommend for daily use? Absolutely not. Will it get you by? Depends on the circumstance. So, guys, I appreciate y'all sticking through this. Hopefully we got y'all some information on this BestSight DIY night vision system. Again, you can go check it out on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it on Amazon. And you can make up your mind if it worked for you. It does come, this is a 5-inch, for some reason I was thinking a 4-inch screen, but it is a 5-inch screen. But BestSight is the company. I think there might be a couple of companies that offer similar things, but BestSight's the ones that sent this to me, and I appreciate them sending it to me. I did tell them I'd review it, and that I'd give them an honest review on it. I think that they're onto something. I think it's got its places in certain circumstances. A true night vision replacement, it's not a true night vision replacement in my opinion, but it could get you by, and if you have absolutely nothing else, it actually works pretty good. I was actually pretty impressed with the image quality. The image quality is good, but for a hunting application, I would rather see this more of on a spotting scope. I really would. I think it will work out better for spotting, and then switch over. Let's say if you use at night, let's say, one thing I don't like about, I've got an older generation ATN scope, and it drains battery life. So if you're out at night and you're just constantly just spotting, it can kind of drain that battery to the point where you're needing to change batteries. Where if you had something set up like this on a spotting scope, you could set your rifle down and only use that for when you actually need to go take your shot. Hook this to something like a spotting scope or something. I think that would be very, very useful. So that might be a good way to adapt a spotting scope to night vision. So that's another thought. I'm gonna keep this on, not this particular gun. I've got another gun I got in mind that's just for pesting and stuff around here that we're gonna change this over to. I'm gonna leave it on there, and when I hear something around the property at night, I'll grab it, flip it on, and maybe we can get some video of us actually shooting something on the property here. I was going to take y'all out and show y'all some hunting and stuff, but I did have that one glitch when I went out to take a coon, and I haven't had any more critters come around the last few days, and I did need to go ahead and get this review out there, and hopefully I got y'all some great information. Guys, if you're subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, hit that bell notification, and as always, I will catch you on the next episode.